All right, guys, finally got my hands on one of these CIGA designs. This is the Series U Blue Planet in steel. You can get it in titanium, or there's some like black and gold colorway one. I'll put a link in the description. Gives you a direct website access to CIGA design. Also, there'll be an Amazon link as well, so you could buy it directly from them if you choose so, or you can buy it right on Amazon. So you have options. Well, let's get right into this. It's obviously a unique watch, and its design that's something that CIGA is known for. Basically, their award-winning designs are done at a more approachable price point, so you don't have to spend tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to get these unique style watches like you often do with some of the larger brands. So this one's much more approachable, but it still gives you those unique features that are just kind of like wild in design, I guess. But let's zoom in a little bit and we'll talk about the measurements of the watch and then go through how to tell time on the darn thing, right? So the case, it's basically a circle that's 45.8 millimeter wide. Now the lug to lug, because we're going to measure the lug to lug, it's actually cut into the case a little bit. It's actually like 32 millimeter. So this would be comfortable even on smaller wrist. Thickness 16 millimeter, but that's that massively domed sapphire crystal over that earth landscape. Basically our hand. It's basically an hour hand, kind of. I'll explain that. And then you have 22 millimeter lug width here. Comes on this nice silicone strap. One floating keeper, one keeper just kind of held in place with a couple of tabs. Matching hardware, of course. 6 millimeter crown. Nicely done, super grippy, no problems winding it and setting it. It is, easy to use, right? So the movement inside, obviously automatic, as you can see behind this mineral crystal. It is a custom movement that they spec'd out to do the task that they needed it to do. So I don't know the details on the movement. I know it has approximately 40-hour power reserve, but other than that, I don't really know, because there's some gearing that had to be changed in order to get this to work properly, if that makes sense. I don't even understand it. So if you do, maybe you can explain it to me. But essentially, this, what do you call it? Pointer thing here. I don't know why I can't think of what the heck that's called. Is what you're going to use to tell the time. So you have a fixed hour track going around the perimeter here, right? So you have the 12 up here at the top and going all the way around. So your time telling is going to be handled off from this little thing here with the pointer. So we're after the 5, so it's 5 and then whatever we're pointing at. So right now we're pointing at basically 19, right? So there's 15, there's 19. So this is rotating, for example, like if we go ahead and spin it, this is rotating like this. So we're after the 5, and as the time goes on, so that would be 5:25, 5:30, and you can tell by the minutes here, right? So there's 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, all the way around until you get to the 50, and then the 55, and then the 00 is going to be, that's 6 o'clock, straight up 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? So there would be 6:05. So you just keep following that around and you use that as your time telling. So it's actually pretty easy once you understand that part of it. It's actually pretty easy to tell the time. I don't think you're going to be able to just glance down and tell the time necessarily. You might be able to get that down pat where you could get really close without, really studying it, but you'd have to probably wear the watch a little bit. Or just be sharper than I am. So there would be high noon, essentially. Or midnight, whichever. Because there's no date on this, so I don't know AM or PM. But essentially, that's it. It seemed complicated to me at first, but it's just really not. It's just interesting. Very UFO looking. Price point on it, it's $1,000, guys. And I know it's a lot of money. I'm not dismissing that, but this is a pretty crazy watch for what's going on here, and to be able to pick something up like this for $1,000, if you go kind of look around at watches of this nature, they're far more expensive. Once you get into like design like this, design language like this, it's incredibly comfortable on wrist too. Like totally wearable. And you talk about a conversation piece, holy cow. People are gonna like notice this watch. They're gonna probably ask a question or two, potentially, or at the bare minimum be like, hey, that's cool, you're wearing a globe on your wrist. Pretty cool. Also the display, there's no loom, so we're not gonna do a loom shot. Maybe future models, maybe they'll do some crazy loom on it or something. Maybe I'll reach out to them and ask them. It comes in like these books too. All these CIGA designs, they come in books, and they actually do put some literature inside, So there's the Earth 2022, and then it gives you some Earth facts, right? Bunch of different languages there. I have no idea what they say. Here's some specs on the watch. We already talked about that. And then the watch is just kind of placed in there. So very cool display or, packaging that it comes in. I think that's part of the whole experience. But overall, I think we have a pretty cool, fun watch here. Let me know what you think. I'll see you on the next vid.